Well, folks, Ohio's 2026 gubernatorial election is starting to heat up, with one name really dominating the conversation, and that is Vivek Ramaswamy. He is the biotech entrepreneur, conservative firebrand, and Trump-endorsed candidate that has really shaken things up in the governor's race. But the real question is can he win the governorship? But there's a big thing that he has to get through first. He has to get the endorsement of the Ohio Republican Party. We see right here that the Republican Party was supposed to, I believe it was last Friday, they were set to have a vote to endorse Ramaswamy in this election. This was a big hurdle that Vivek had to get through, and he made it. The GOP reached the 2/3 supermajority needed in order to endorse Vivek Ramaswamy in this race. Now, previously, this was a wide open race. You had incumbent Governor Mike DeWine, who was term limited in 2026. Now, Republicans, they have held this seat since, I believe, 2010 with John Kasich, and Ramaswamy really has a bold vision in a different way forward from the previous two governors. The previous two governors in Ohio were John Kasich and Mike DeWine, very much establishment figures. And Vivek Ramaswamy is a very, very different figure, who has a very bold and pragmatic vision for the future of limited government, economic growth, and cultural restoration to the conservative values that have really energized the conservative base. And I think Ohioans are going to rally 100% behind him. Now, we have to dig in. Who exactly is Vivek Ramaswamy? Now, Ramaswamy, he is 39 years old. He's a biotech entrepreneur, founded a multi-billion-dollar company, created tons of jobs and tons of wealth for him and his shareholders. Now, he rose to fame as a conservative commentator, really slamming the woke culture, big government, during his 2024 presidential run. Now, obviously, he dropped out. He endorsed Donald Trump in 2024, was supposed to be a kind of co-partner to Elon Musk in the Doge efforts. Ultimately, after about a month, he decided to step away and run for governor in Ohio, really saying that he wants to focus on a statewide profile instead of a nationwide profile. Now, he's already been endorsed by Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and his outsider status is definitely a different path than Ohioans have taken in the past. Remember, like we said, 2022, Mike DeWine. 2018, Mike DeWine. 2014, you have John Kasich. So obviously, you have very much establishment figures, and someone like Vivek Ramaswamy is a completely opposite direction with inside of the Republican Party relative to where they have gone over the last about decade and a half. And his platform is really slashing regulations, boost manufacturing, protect free speech, and secure their borders, which aligns 100% with Ohio's conservative heartland. They are not going to have sanctuary cities in Ohio. Ultimately, when you talk about securing the border, a lot of that has to do with the federal government, but there's a lot they can do statewide. What can they do to make sure illegal immigrants are not coming there? Why do you have so many illegal immigrants coming to Ohio in the first place? And so far, there was already a major outside buy for Vivek Ramaswamy, roughly $2.2 million in ad buys in early 2025 that were put out to promote Ramaswamy and to show that he has the Trump endorsement. He has the Trump endorsement as of right now. And if you look, we can go down here and see in the most recent poll, I guess that's actually not technically the most recent poll that has come out. But let's see if we can get down here. Here we go. In this public policy poll, and from February here, you can see Vivek sitting at roughly a 41% approval rating. The only people who have a higher approval rating than Vivek is Donald Trump in the state. Trump has a 53% approval rating. DeWine has a 34%. Amy Acton has a 31%. Tim Ryan has a 31%. Vivek has a 41%. But it was kind of funny. In this race right here, or in this poll, Amy Acton actually was leading over Vivek Ramaswamy. But something you may want to consider is the fact that public policy polling is a polling firm, and actually, we're going to go and see the sponsor of this. The sponsor was 314 Action, which is a progressive nonprofit political action committee that wants to elect STEM-educated Democrats to higher office, which that would be Amy Acton. She was one of the head people during COVID in Ohio. So obviously, they want to make it look like Amy Acton's doing good. The reality is, she's not going to win Ohio. The reality is Democrats are not going to win the state of Ohio. Like, it's just not going to happen. Ohio has been a Republican stronghold for years. For years, it has been a Republican stronghold, and that is really good news for Ramaswamy, especially considering there are historical trends. This midterm election, 2026, is not going to be great for the Republicans, historically speaking. It doesn't mean they can't hold the Senate. It doesn't mean they can't hold the House. It doesn't mean they can't win competitive races. But historically speaking, the tide is going against them. Now, like we said, Republicans have won every single gubernatorial election since 2010. Every single one. You go back to 2010 when John Kasich flipped. He flipped this from a Democrat seat. Remember, this was a Democrat seat. Democrats won in 2006, almost 25 percentage points. Fast forward to 2010, John Kasich flipped the state of Ohio to 2 percentage points. Then went on in 2014 to win by almost 30 percentage points. A huge victory. And like we said, you look in 2022. You saw Mike DeWine beat Nan Whalen by almost 25 percentage points in 2022. Look at the presidential level. They voted for Trump. Look, they voted for Barack Obama 2 times. 4 points and 3 points. They voted for Barack Obama. They voted for Trump by 8 points in 2016. Trump by 8 points in 2020, and then 11 points in 2024. And the 2026 midterms could favor the Republicans if a Democrat, ultimately, we know Democrats did not win the House, so it's not going to favor the Republicans in 2024. In 2026, because we know the midterms often swing against the president's party. Now, Democrats haven't won the governor's mansion since Ted Strickland in 2006. And Ohio is not the swing state it used to be. It has been trending red for the last decade and a half, and Ramaswamy 100% could ride that wave. Even though he is not an establishment figure, someone like a Mike DeWine, someone like a John Kasich, with the amount of support that there is, I've talked with many people. I have family in Ohio. Many people I've talked to in Ohio. They voted for DeWine, but were they really that thrilled about him? No, not really. He had broad appeal. Did they really love him? No. And we know behind the scenes, Mike DeWine was trying to make sure that the GOP did not endorse Vivek Ramaswamy this early. But they did. He has the Republican Party endorsement. Now, we're still going to consider who are the other candidates who are in this race. People like David Yost, the Ohio Attorney General, since 2018 and a former state auditor for 8 years previous to that. He is running with the experience as an auditor and a prosecutor. And he has about 37% of people said that they're unfamiliar of him. But he definitely has a good record to run on, definitely much more on that establishment side. And then, of course, you have Jim Tressel, who is the lieutenant governor. Many people, he is the lieutenant governor right now, was appointed by DeWine to be the lieutenant governor after they had to nominate John Husted to replace J.D. Vance in the Senate. Jim Tressel, obviously a very, very popular person in the state of Ohio. He is a former college football coach. I believe it was for Ohio State. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a college football fan, but very, very popular Republican in the state of Ohio. Now, jumping over to the Democrat side, you have Amy Acton. She's the only Democrat who has announced that she is running for this race. Acton is a former health director and is the only, like we said, announced Democrat as of right now. But she's a very polarizing figure, with 49% of voters say they don't know her, but her COVID legacy and lockdowns really hurt her with conservatives. It really hurts her. Obviously, she was really the top scientist who was advising Mike DeWine throughout the whole process. That's why Mike DeWine had jumped the gun on so many different issues. So many different issues. We're going to find this. I'm going to try and get this poll pulled up right here. Again, Amy Acton, 31% favorable, 42% unsure. Now, granted, this was from back in February. There was a recent survey. As of right now, Amy Acton, in a YouGov poll that was taken, I believe, within the last about a month ago, which candidate would you like to be the Democrat nominee for Ohio governor in 2026? Amy Acton getting 52% over Tim Ryan. I'd like to see how that plays out with a Sherrod Brown in this race, because I think there is some talk that he may be in this race. But then you look at the Republican side, Vivek Ramaswamy, 64%. At this point, he basically has it locked down for what he's going to do. Now, as of right now, Amy Acton, Vivek Ramaswamy, head-to-head, Ramaswamy's winning by 5 points as of right now. But I guess we should talk about the other Democrat, Sherrod Brown, who could jump in. As of right now, there's nothing official about what they're going to do. Nothing official. We don't have any more information on if he's going to run for this race. Obviously, we know John Husted has to run in a special election in 2026, so that obviously is pulling Democrats and Democrats into that race as well. But as you can see, Ramaswamy, he leads 5 points over Amy Acton. 5 points over her. Look at this. There's no other candidate. Look, David Yost only beats Amy Acton by a point. Jim Tressel only wins by 3 points over Tim Ryan. Vivek expands his margin of victory to 7 points over Tim Ryan. The days of those quasi-Democrats, quasi-liberal Democrats winning in states like Ohio, like Montana, they're just over with. It's just not a reality anymore. Clearly, polling 18 months out shows that Vivek has the support of the state. Ohio wants him, whether it's 5 points against Acton or 7 points over Tim Ryan. He will win this race. And I really do believe that he will win this race. At the end of the day, right now, I have this as a Republican state somewhere between 5 to 10 percentage points. Ultimately, I think you're going to be closer to probably right down the middle, 6, 7, 8. I think that's probably a healthy margin of victory. It's going to depend on who the Democrats put up in this race, but ultimately, I think it could get as close as 5 points, but I honestly don't see the margin for the Republicans going under 5 points here. Now, Ohioans, they really do care about real issues. And Ramaswamy's platform hits the nail on the head. You look at the economy. Ohio's manufacturing base needs a boost. It was gutted under the Obama administration. Ramaswamy's plan is to cut regulations, attract businesses, bring jobs back to the state. Unlike the Democrats who want to spend and tax the living, really tax people to death, spend money like there's no tomorrow. No, let's let the private sector do what they're supposed to do. The government does not need to be involved with that. Get the government the hell out of the way. You look at education. Ramaswamy supports school choice and opposes the woke indoctrination that has occurred in our public schools throughout the country, which 100% appeals to parents, parental rights, the frustration that they have with the public school system as of right now. And Ramaswamy has a very tough on crime approach to crime, including border security, making sure that it is not a sanctuary state, which resonates in communities that have been hit very hard by drugs and violence. Very much hit by that. So while Ramaswamy is going to focus on issues that actually matter to people, like the economy, education, crime and safety, Democrats are going to obsess over social issues like abortion. Ramaswamy's talking about jobs, safety, and liberty. Meanwhile, Democrats are talking about abortion, and DEI, and woke indoctrination. That's what the Democrats care about at the end of the day. But I'm not going to sit here and act like this is going to be some, Ramaswamy's going to win by 30 points. There will be hurdles in this race. Ramaswamy has never been elected before, and that could be a knock on him. Voters do love an outside figure. Look, they love Trump in Ohio. He's an outside figure. But the reality is voters treat Donald Trump and give him a much more leeway than they give statewide or even state officials. And that's something you need to keep in mind. Now, ultimately, he has the backing of the state GOP. He has the backing of Donald Trump and many, many big-name Republicans. Like, look at this. Marsha Blackburn, Mike Lee, Cynthia Lummis, Bernie Moreno, Rick Scott, Jim Jordan, Warren Davidson, David Taylor, Frank LaRose. Like, you have a number of big-name politicians. Look over here. Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, Jake Paul, Donald Trump Jr. Tons of people endorsing Ramaswamy in this race, which now that he has the GOP nomination or the GOP endorsement, that really unlocks a lot for him. That unlocks a lot when it comes to actual infrastructure and spending. That's huge for him going into this race. So we're going to see exactly what happens in this race. But there are obviously lots of structural advantages to having the backing of the state GOP as of right now. But Democrats, they could also rally behind a big name like Sherrod Brown, someone who can actually fundraise a lot of money. Because remember, Sherrod Brown only lost his election by 6 percentage points in the state? Trump won Ohio by 11.2. In the Senate, they only won it by 3.5. 3.5 percentage points. Bernie Moreno barely got over the 50% threshold. Barely. This could be a lot closer election if Browns, and I get it, the polls are so far out. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick it and be, oh yeah, this poll, no, they know exactly what they're talking about. No, nobody knows what the hell they're talking about this far out. That's just not a reality. The reality is that it could be a close race, especially if Democrats are willing. Look, as of right now, I'm sure you all know it. You've seen it from my other videos before. But on the Senate side, oh, and I don't have my map saved, but on the Senate side, I have that Democrats have a 49-seat ceiling. If Democrats win all the toss-up states, all the competitive states, this is where I put them at. If they want to get to 50 seats, they could be looking at someplace like Ohio. If they get someone like Amy Acton, a Tim Ryan, a Bernie Moreno, I think Bernie Moreno really is the big one there. But ultimately, that's how they get to 50 seats. Obviously, they're going to prioritize their cash in places like Michigan, Georgia, North Carolina, and Maine. Those are a lot of places they got to put cash right now. But if they had the ability, they are most likely going to go after Ohio. They're going to see what they can do. But Ramaswamy's path is pretty clear. He's going to dominate this primary, unify Republicans, and hammer Democrats on their weak record, especially when it comes to energy and manufacturing. So that's the question. Will Vivek Ramaswamy win the Ohio governorship? Absolutely, I believe so. I believe it is very probable that he will be the governor in Ohio in, January 3rd, 2027. Because the facts say he has got a strong shot, very strong shot, with his bold conservative vision and a weak Democrat opposition to the point where GOP victory, it's not going to be guaranteed. It's not guaranteed by any means. But I definitely believe it is likely that he wins this race. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think it's the best idea to nominate Ramaswamy? If you were a Democrat, who is the best Democrat to nominate to run against Ramaswamy? And do you think that Ramaswamy will win this election? Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, drop down below. Hit that subscribe button, folks. Make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future. And folks, we will catch you next time.